Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Annita Keane, and if you don't know me already, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. And if you do know me already, hi, how are you doing? Great to see you again. I want to thank Cindy and Kristen and Karen for giving me the opportunity to jump in here this week, because you know what, manifesting is a really important part of our lives. We're manifesting 24/7. We might as well be manifesting what we want rather than it happening to us by accident, right? So today it's about boosting your manifesting skill set with human design. And to be honest, if you even do one of these things, you're going to boost your skill set, boost your manifesting. But I have 5 things. So you have 5 chances to boost your manifesting skill set with your human design, okay? For me, I'm a triple split, 5-1, can you see it there? Projector. And my journey to human design, I think, was desperation, because as a projector, I needed to find a way that I could actually work, that I didn't kill myself or burn out or both. That's a bit extreme, but anyway. So with my journey, I spent my first 20 years in biomedical science. And spent the last 15 years in personal development. I've studied human design since 2014. Wrote a book. I've brought energy work into the boardroom, which was really interesting. And my work has been distributed worldwide and translated into several different languages. To be honest, guys, human design was the game changer for me. But this is enough about me, and let's move over to you. I'd love to ask you to put your feet on the ground and just take 3 deep belly breaths. You are going to learn new stuff today. So if it resonates with you, great. If it doesn't, great. If it triggers you, great. Because if it triggers you, it's yours. You might find it's conflicting with what you know already, but it's conflicting hopefully with what you know already doesn't work, right? So it gets a little bit different there. So take 3 deep breaths. And let's ground your energy. So with the 4th breath, breathe into your belly and breathe down into the ground, right into the heart of the earth, and just really let the earth energy support us. With the next breath, bring the energy up through your legs, up through your whole being, and out about a foot over your head, and let it fall around you, creating a natural cocoon. Now you can feel the energy change already. And I'm just going to call in the angels here, because I love to bring in that magical aspect, so that we can set the intention to hear what you need to hear today. And that if there's one piece missing, if there's only something small you need to tweak, that you hear it today exactly the way you need to. And we'll call in Archangel Michael for truth and Archangel Gabriel for the communication to go smoothly, because we are at the tail end of the Mercury retrograde. So we'll use that energy to go in and reflect on what's going on for you, as much as that inner wisdom then manifests in our life next week when it's ready to be shared. Fantastic. And the first question I'm going to ask you is, are you willing to commit to creating your life your way without apology? And just note that down for yourself. Okay. All right, let's get going. So, as I said, the universal laws of creation work 24/7. But I've noticed the difference is, you know, there's been The Secret, there's all these gurus of manifesting out there that don't understand human design. And they're giving like the 5 general steps. And I don't know, if you're like me, you might have found like that it's working to a certain extent for you, but the laws of creation aren't working for you in the way that you would expect following the steps, the general steps, you know, the one size fits all, not steps. Anyway, what differs is how are you actually wired to connect with these energies to create what you want in your life. And this is what we're going to have a look for today. This is for you if you manifest lots of things, just not money. You have studied the laws of attraction extensively and you get results, but they're limited with respect to what you want to create. You feel your problem is in the receiving, maybe. You're giving, 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 and there's nothing coming back. And these are four of many, you can manifest to a point, and then you seem to unwittingly sabotage yourself. Okay, so if this resonates with you, it's stay in the room. If it doesn't, you can leave now. Okay, so today I'm going to outline those manifesting steps and connect this to human design. So you're going to learn different ways you can connect in with the laws of the universe, the energies of the universe to create, and you're going to get tips on how specifically that works for you. Hopefully you'll see the difference, and I'll give you the reasoning why too, if things don't work out for you, why that might happen. So the first step is completions. Of course, we're making room for what we want, right? We're making room for something new. So how do you do completions? The second is ask for what you want. Makes sense, right? We're making room for what we want to come in. So ask for what you want. How are you wired to communicate? Then we look at the anchor versus resistance. Are you paying attention to the signals that are telling you you're moving towards your goal? Or are you paying attention to your fear and stopping yourself? That's the resistance. The inspired action. Well, how are you wired to take action? And allowing. And this is an interesting one because human design really gives us super information as how we move forward. Now, for me, with my design, I'm wired to help you unify your inner resources, mind, body, and spirit, to create that container that will generate resources for you in your life. So for me, I work with the business. I help people to identify, create your specific business groove, how you are wired to do business, as opposed to how you learned. Your money-making process, which is my prosperity pathway you've heard about before, and then manifesting by design, the energy tools and techniques to help you manifest all this and keep the abundance flowing. Now, I'm not a multitasker, so if I get distracted, I really do get distracted. I'd really appreciate when you put your comments in the chat that we have a look at them towards the end, so that we can get as much in as possible. You have the training, and then we can go for the questions afterwards, okay? I'm going to do the best that I can to get this information to you cleanly and simply. And I will be offering you opportunities to work with me later, but actually my Oasis isn't opening again until September, so I have a wait list for that. But I do have a wait list available that you can sign up for with respect to a new course that I'm doing, which is Manifesting by Design. And that is just so that you get in for the early bird. Also, though, with the sign up, I have a special training there around completions. And you're going to see why this is so important moving forward. Okay, so let's go to step one, completions. Of course, completions, making room for that something new is the foundational key of the manifesting process. The reason it is because if we're too busy worrying or too busy trying to figure things out or too busy actually taking actions, we will trigger, we'll tell the universe we're too busy, right? We will have a big occupied sign in front of our energy going, don't come near me, even though inside we're going, give me more clients. But our energy is saying, occupied, sorry, I'm busy, I have no room. I have no room in the end for anything. But also something really important here about human design and how it comes in is that we're wired to complete things in a specific way. And you'll probably know this already if you've done human design before. If you haven't, bear with me. If you release things in a way that's not natural for you, you will trigger grieving instead of that natural, spacious process of, you know, when you've done a spring clean and the energy in the house is like fantastic and they're, oh my God, it feels so good. Can't wait for the new thing to come in, as opposed to, oh no, I'm after leaving everything. And now you're emotionally occupied, right? You're still saying, I'm occupied to the universe. So how are you wired to complete things? We look at the open centers. I'll just pick a few obvious ones here, right? So the open spleen, you're actually wired to be wise on what to let go and what not to let go. And that wisdom comes with your ability to be able to get your decision, yes, no. Is it right for me to let this go or not, right? You stay closely linked to your decision strategy with this. Because otherwise, we'll look at the next slide, the open will center. You might not complete things because you're still proving yourself. You know, you're still stuck in the proving, so you delay the completion. So by the time, and this is kind of a big thing around the will center and the boom or bust, by the time you actually let it go, the potential is there's nothing at the other side, okay? Sorry about the noise here. I'm in the city, so it's hard to get things in without lots of noise. So with the open will, you're wired to step into your value and know when it's time to finish or not. Are you a natural finisher? You might not be. You know, I have a 53 coming from my root center, and I'm a natural starter. I'm not a finisher. If you've the gate 42, you're a natural finisher though. And, you know, to be mindful of how you're wired to finish, right? So how are you wired to avoid completion? And I want to point this out to you. I'm a scientist by nature. I kind of get technical about things because I think when you build your own body of evidence about what works and what doesn't, it gets easier. So open centers, open spleen, open will, finisher or not, and gate 42 are all the same things that I have on the slide. How are you wired to avoid completion? Here's why, because when we're in balance, when we're coming from our core energy, we are in our superpowers. All these options, even open centers, are our superpowers. When we're out of balance, there are super liabilities, right? So the open spleen, instead of being careful or smart about what I let go, what I'll do with the open spleen instead is I'll hold on to things. I linger. I have the open spleen myself, so I'm a disastrous declutterer. I'll start, and 5 minutes later, I start reading the stuff. And before I know it, the book has gone back up on the shelf instead of into the pile for the library. So, you know, it can be the liability as well. Or I can let go things that are actually serve me, that are good for me. So the open will, the same, you know, you can often be so busy proving yourself that you've gone way past the natural endpoint. And, you know, you can write in the chat if this resonates with you or not. It could be a bit of fun. And write in the chat how you're wired to naturally complete things. Because, you know, when you learn something with this, writing it down kind of reinforces it in your mind. Oh, that's correct for me. The natural finisher. I'm the natural starter. Unfortunately, it's in my prosperity pathway as well. So when I get nervous, I don't feel nervous or fearful, but I will start something new. And if you do that, I'll just say, I'll just do this now before I have to do the important thing. And the potential, if I'm not smart about finishing, is that I leave a trail of started things behind me. Now, the gate 42, similar, the gate 42 may complete things before prematurely if you're out of balance, as opposed to knowing that exact timing. Okay, can you see already how just with one point, how the human design can help you, you know, pinpoint how you're wired to complete things? so that you're sending the message to the universe, which says, I'm open for business. So knowing how you're wired to make completions tells the universe, I'm open for business or I'm not. Okay, so that's step number one. Step number two, asking for what you want. This is a great one, you know, because it's easy knowing what we want when we're young, because the path is laid out for us. We kind of go to kindergarten and we go to school and we go to college or get our job and do whatever we do in the relationship scene and take it from there. Asking for what you want is about filling the space that you've now released with what you want instead. It's your message to the universe. And so take a minute there to write down on the chat. Look at your design. How are you wired to communicate? Do you even know what you want? Because, you know, at the moment, we're kind of creating a new future for ourselves. COVID has knocked the socks out of our beliefs and the different structures that we've relied on for so long. The only person we can trust now is ourselves. And there's so much information. The only thing, not just ourselves, but our decision strategy is becoming key. So are you asking for what you want? Because what can happen is that we can wait for our guidance. You know, in the human design, they say, you know, wait to respond or wait to be invited or wait. Here's the thing though, it's technically true in context. What I've learned from energy work is that we actually ask for what we want first and then wait for what the universe brings us to respond to. So ask for what you want first. Otherwise, we're waiting, right? Always waiting and always like putting everything on the long finger. And you know, it's important to know this because even when you ask for what you want, you don't need to take what the universe brings you back, but you can certainly now, it gets the ball going. It gets that co-creative space going. Let's watch my time. Okay, gets the co-creative space going. I'm asking for what I want. The universe brings it back to me and I'm kind of there, oh yeah, that's perfect, or not. It helps me discern or create a preference about what I want instead. So, you know, an example is I might ask the universe for happiness. You know, I'd want to be happy. And the universe brings me a puppy. And I'm there, no, I really don't want a puppy. I don't want to go through that training process all over again. But that's the universe's definition of puppy. So we're supposed to say, not the puppy, thanks. Here's what I mean by happiness. It helps us to discern and fine tune what we want. Send it back and it comes back to us with another option. We might negate the ask, which is, you know, I'm asking with one hand and I'm closing it out with the other. Have you ever noticed about asking for money? I'd say, well, I really need money to do this, but, you know, I don't really need the money at the same time. You know, money doesn't motivate me. So that the universe is getting the message, well, what do you want? Do you want money or no money? So you're holding an energy of waiting again, right? You're negating your ask. Unclear messaging. Unclear messaging can be when we're asking from our openness, from our conditioning, where we kind of, you know, I'm asking for what I think I want. But if my energy is in balance and I'm asking for what I think I want, to the universe, that sounds glitchy. You know, when you have the radio station, just maybe a 0.1 or 0.2 of the perfect frequency, and it kind of gets glitchy, it kind of goes crackly. That's what I mean by unclear messaging. Unclear messaging also occurs when it's an emotional ask. Okay, just very important. The emotion is like the clouds in the sky. You can't see the sun, but it doesn't mean the sun isn't there. Okay, and then the mistaking the other's idea for your own, exactly what I said with the unclear messaging. We're sending out someone else's ask and it's working for them and you're looking and going, oh my God, how come it's working for them? That's exactly what I asked for. See where I'm going with this? So how are you wired to communicate? Because the way you communicate and connect with others determines your connection with the universe. It determines your communication. This is a co-creative relationship here. So have a look at your design. If you have the motor to the throat, you'll find it no problem to communicate the manifestor and the manifesting generator. The open solar plexus, being very wise about what to ask for or not ask for, knowing when they need to ask as opposed to not. The open will, where you actually really value yourself and you understand your needs. So you communicate that clearly and you put yourself first. The 2340 channel is another good one. When you're in balance, that 2343, you come across as an absolutely inspirational guru. It comes to profound guidance and timing. We all know if we don't have the motor to the throat, timing is critical, right? So what's your timing? For me, I think I described this, was it last week in another training? My timing is wait to respond, right? That's my strategy. But the timing, if I need to interject and I'm not being invited, I invite myself in. I will say something like, would you be open to a suggestion here? And they'll say yes or no then. Either way, I'm giving myself a chance, right? So how do you communicate? Look at your design. If you've done the course on finding your voice with Karen or the communication with Karen, go back and see how you're wired. And here's the more fun one, because this is where your human design shows you where you're going to unwittingly sabotage yourself, right? And this is in your manifesting. And so it's really great to know. So have you got a motor to the throat? Because if you haven't a motor to the throat and you're asking for what you want out of timing, you're not going to be heard. Have you noticed? You're not going to be heard. You might as well be going, blah, 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 blah. People are going there, did someone squeak? And it's really annoying, but you really, if you want to be heard, the timing, understanding your timing is critical. With the open solar plexus, you might you want to keep everything nice. You don't want to rock the boat. So this is out of balance, right? So you won't want to rock the boat, so you won't ask because you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. With the open will, you'll be super committed to everything. The open will, you might find that you are pushing. You might be pushing your communication. With the defined will, you might be pushing your communication. With the open will, you might be overcommitting. You might be, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that. You'll be jumping into everything. And then you're kind of like, crap, I can't possibly do all that, right? With the 2343 channel out of balance, what you might find is that when you speak out of timing, people will look at you as if you've got two heads, right? They'll say, that's just crazy, Annita. Have you found that? Because these are things that will get in the way of your communication to the universe. So you need to be aware of your communication style when you're in balance, because when you're out of balance, it becomes a liability. And the timing again. What about the open throat? Do you find that you just blurt things out? I call it my size 8 syndrome or my foot and mouth disease, where I just say something out of timing and it just sounds so ridiculous. So I don't know, do you find that? It's just really fun to just figure out your communication style so that you can ask in the way that you were wired to ask, okay? So knowing how you're wired to communicate tells the universe, I'm clear about my ask. And if I'm not clear about my ask, I'm aware that what the universe brings back to me helps me to discern and define and refine what I want instead, right? So it's not about needing to know that certainty with the open ajna, right? You don't need to be certain. And here I'm showing this picture. It's literally just to show you getting out of the quagmire into the clarity so that you can ask for what you want. Step 3, I need to speed up. Step 3 is nurture versus resistance. This is when you've given your message to the universe. Now what happens? You start getting responses back immediately, by the way. So if you're in the space where you're waiting, there's potentially limiting belief there holding you waiting, right? Or you haven't asked the question that the universe is clear about. So the nurture is, are you nurturing the seeds that you've sown with the universe? Gather all the evidence, that body of evidence that supports what you want to create, so that you can grow your manifesting muscle moving forward. So notice things, oh, there's guidance. And then check in with your sacral or your decision style. Is that my guidance? You know, hang on, universe, that isn't clear. Would you mind just bringing me back something a little bit more clear? And the universe, well, they're sure. It can't say no. The universe doesn't say no, which is the good thing. So we'll see that later. Anyway, growing your manifesting muscle, growing the evidence of the steps that are supporting your goal. Or the other is, every time you manifest things, you're naturally going to create resistance. You're going to run out of balance. You're out of your comfort zone. Out of your comfort zone means you're not in your comfort zone. And out of your comfort zone, what is that for you? Do you get nervous? We usually trigger into fear because our body is going, our natural defense system is going, hang on, wait a second, you're doing something new, you're stepping out of your, hang on. Now that can turn into an all-out shit fit as well, as you well know, right? But you know, the fear is just saying, are you in mortal danger? Yes or no? Usually no, right? And then it's kind of saying, okay, well, let's proceed with caution. Let's not use this fear as a stop. Let's assess what we need moving forward and take the steps by step by step, okay? And so the resistance can also come from conditioning. The resistance and the self-sabotage. The self-sabotage is what we do when we're out of balance with our design, instead of maybe with the open emotion, kind of going, okay, I know what to confront here. I know what I need to do. Kind of going, said, no, I won't do anything. I don't hurt anybody's feelings, right? So I'm sorry, I love to laugh at this because we need to have a sense of humor with our creation moving forward. Our sense of humor is much more magnetic. That's brilliant English. Anyway, much more magnetic than fear and worry. The unconscious commitments I want to talk about this quickly. When we have our ask, the thought process, the question that has the most energy gets the result. So our head might be asking for something, and our body, we might have an unconscious commitment to not creating that. So we'll set up a situation where we get no results. And the unconscious commitment will always show up when you want something and there's no result there to show that it's coming yet, okay? Just want to be clear about that because we're committed, we're always committed. Are we committed to our fear, which is the unconscious commitment, it's in the body usually, or are we committed to creating? Just thought I'd mention that. It'll come up in the questions again later. So how are you wired to nurture your goal? Your decision strategy check. Is this my guidance? Yes, no. Is this guidance going to bring me closer to making more money in my business? Yes, no. I might be getting a yes, but I need to develop my questioning so that I am making sure that this thing that I love, because we love a lot of things, right, is actually going to be a lucrative business idea. Notice every indicator that contributes to your goal and appreciate it. Oh, I'm so appreciative that these things are showing up for me. This is all free, guys. All this is free. Self-care. Self-care, I'm a projector, but self-care, your level of self-care is directly proportional to your ability to manifest clients. So this is a very, very important piece. Staying in balance and managing staying in balance and understanding when you're out of balance and just reset, okay? So nurturing your goal is really important. How are you wired to sabotage your goal? What's your favorite sabotage? I know mine is starting something new, you know, another juicy marketing idea or another like course or another really intriguing thing to do. That's where I go when I'm sabotaging my goal. Now, I want to be clear that it's fear that's underneath the sabotage. but it doesn't feel like fear because it's a kind of a predictable behavior pattern that we operate instead. For example, have a look at your design for this one. Do you act on mental or root pressure without checking in with your decision strategy? That would be a sabotage. Do you distract yourself in fear? I distract myself. I just go, oh, squirrel, and it's a sparkly one. Wow, I can't wait to check that out. That's my distraction, right? Or freeze. Do you overwhelm yourself with needing to be right, needing to be certain, and then miss your cues and stay off balance rather than recognize off balance? Or do you overcommit to others with that open will? Are you overcommitting to your clients? Are you giving them every drop of blood out of your body, out of your being? Or are you creating healthy boundaries? But overcommitting is another big one that we can do, especially as women. And then stress, fear, and judgment. When we're in fear, when it needs to be right or wrong, when it has to be when it's only one thing, we're in stress, right? We don't have to stay there. Or you stay problem focused. The amygdala is fear, fight or flight, stress. We're either fighting it or we're running away from it. Okay, so with this picture, it's a picture of a little girl. She's pulling everything out of the earth, like she's trying to get the weeds, but actually she's pulled everything. So just, to make sure that you're nurturing that when you are weeding, that, weeding out the things you don't want, refining your goal, that you're not pulling out everything, nor are you pulling out the roots to see are they growing? Okay. So using your decision process to assess your clues correctly. As I notice my cues, I own my ability to respond. Response, ability. Okay, very, hopefully clear energy. So step 4 is inspired action. Inspired action, what I have here, what if positive change means do it your way? Stop trying to copy other people. Stop trying to put everything into an old box. Leave it be new. When all your senses are in agreement, inspired action, really, with inspired action, it's about, are you leaving the room with that declutter or completion process for you to actually receive the guidance? Are you allowing that balance in your body? So you're not just assessing something with your head, you're allowing your insight, your instincts, your inspiration, your intuition, your decision strategy. You're allowing all these to get on the same page so that it's common sense to take that action. All your senses are in agreement. They're all going in one direction. It's absolutely amazing. Or, the inspired action, the potential is that you're busy running in circles. We're too busy to actually have the cues, or we misread them. We misread the cues so easily. Have you noticed? I'll get a cue. I have the 4764, so I'll get the cue and I'll be there. Before the guidance is fully downloaded, I'll jump off and start something. And then I'm into it and I'm there, hang on a second. This isn't working the way I want. I just didn't let the story complete, right? So natural starter. So how are you wired to be inspired or to get that instinct? Are you naturally intuitive? Have you got that 57 in your chart there defined? Have you got individual circuitry? That's a different kind of knowing, isn't it? Each time, though, you can take away the guesswork by just checking in with your decision strategy. Is this knowing my guidance? The more you are in balance, the more room in your mind, the less emotionally snagged or static you have, and the easier it is for you to read your guidance correctly. And have fun with it, It's like, I remember at one point I was doing my morning practice and I opened an angel book that I have. And in the corner I had a tag in the angel book that said, sell the shares. I said, God, that is weird that, I'm getting guidance. There's no way I put this tag in this book. The next thing I go into the kitchen to my partner and I kind of there going, you know what? I just got this weird guidance, you know, this weird tag in my book to say sell the shares. And he's there, oh, I was just thinking about selling shares. So we were there, okay, you better sell the shares then, which was fabulous because 2 days later, the shares tanked. So Larry had sold the shares and got the full money for them. And 2 days later, we would have, you know, we would have made 5 cents a share instead of $5, which was a huge difference, you know. So being open to your guidance. And if you're concerned about it, just ask the universe, can you make that clear for me, please? So how do you avoid guided action? This one is easy. You know, for me at the start, I used to throw my marketing out there, you know, like throwing spaghetti on a wall and then run and hide so no one could find me. I never gave a call to action, right? What's your way of avoiding guided action? You'll find it's right there in your design. Do you act under root and head pressure? Do you run like without, or do you do something without checking your guidance? Is your need to be certain stopping you from being open to possibility? You know, one is stress brings you the liability, balance brings you the superpower. Is your intuitive hunch clouded with emotion? Because the intuition is in the spleen, right? So there is fear there. So it's just about being able to read your fear correctly. Do you override your decision strategy? Who doesn't do that, right? My decision says yes, and the head is going, oh, but it's such a good opportunity. Really, that's where the money is, and your body's going, no, 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 no. And what do you do? Do you take action or not? We all have evidence of doing both, right? Fear or uncertainty overwhelming you, not taking action. Yeah, maybe doing the same thing. Maybe you're kind of afraid to stop doing what you're doing, even though it's not working. Anybody do that? Yeah, we all do it, right? We all have our own ways of doing this. So it's not about making it wrong or making it right. It's about recognizing, oh, that means I'm out of balance. Am I still trying to do the same thing? Am I just putting a different picture on it to pretend that I'm not doing the same thing? You know, the answer will be in your result. Okay, so that's the best way to indicate. And so do you give yourself permission to take that imperfect action? I think that's important for taking action because the inspired guidance usually is off the wall from what you're thinking, right? It doesn't necessarily make sense with the knowing. You kind of know without knowing how you know. But when you know that, you know you need to take the action or you're in trouble, right? You'll spend the time going, oh my God. So step 5, art of allowing. How are we doing so far? How do you allow things? A lot of the gurus make this art of allowing into something that's kind of a little bit woo. You know, you have to be in the right frequency, and I'm kind of there. What's that? Classic 5-1 scientist, come energy expert. You know, what's that? Tell me exactly. Of course, then you'll know yourself. You know, did you ever get that one? You'll know yourself when you're in balance, and I'm there. Obviously not. I don't know myself when I'm in balance. So the art of allowing, I've integrated or woven into the design as, what are you saying yes to? What are you allowing into your life? What are you saying no to? You know? And the reason you know this, because you might be saying yes to things because you have limited beliefs, or you believe in that scarcity, you believe in that hard work, you believe in the don't quit, suck it up thing, you know? Now, there's times when that's perfect, but there's times when there's not too, right? You can be full. You might not be able to hear your yes, no. You might doubt your yes, no. See where all these are in your chart? You might reject yourself. You might have the one in your line, and you might just, you know, negate your wisdom over somebody else's. Give someone else the kudos rather than yourself. So your decision strategy here, as you can see, is key all the way through, because it's what resonates with you is what's important, not what someone else thinks. So have a look at your design and how are you wired to say yes? What's your decision strategy? How do you work your open centers? so that they support your yes. The personal care again, that balance. And keep asking questions, because the power is in the question. The answer is always going to change as you grow. The question needs to change also. Instead of going, oh my God, this isn't working out, kind of going, I wonder how and what needs to happen for this to work out. You know, give me guidance. Do I need to quit? Is it, you know, generators, you know how important this is, yeah? Do I need to quit, or am I breaking through something here? So how do we avoid allowing the same as the rest of them, right? Stay too busy, override our decision strategy, fear or uncertainty overwhelming us. And we might be in the right place at the right time, but we miss the signal, because when we're in stress or too full, we're seeing the opportunity as a threat. And we start defending what we're doing isn't working. Have you noticed that? Like, oh my God, it is such a pain. But this really helps you fine-tune your process and move forward instead. So mind, body, and energy balance supports my ability to co-create with the universe. Because that's what we're doing. We need to be able to read those fear signals. I need to pay attention. Do I actually need to stop, or do I need to breathe? Because fear is excitement without the breath. Okay? And so instead of reading the signal as a stop, get back in balance and take that action. So this is the manifest by design. I'm just finished everything. What time is it now? 14:44. That's decent. This is the page or the link to sign up for the wait list. This is really to make sure that you get the early bird, which is going to be $444 for an 8-week course. And what happens after that is it'll be the end of July, early August timeframe. But you make sure you get in on it. The full price will be $497. So it's a decent discount that goes there. And it's an 8-week course where you work with me. We bring you on your journey of defining and refining your manifesting skill set by design, exactly as we did today, but obviously with more time. There'll be the modules, the Q&A calls, Facebook support, and there's one big thing in there, which is huge, is a 30-minute private call for each person. So you can see why I'm putting up a wait list. I'm going to limit my numbers because of that. But a bonus with this is developing your daily practice according to design, not trying to fix yourself into the routine box when you're not a routine person. Okay, so that's that. And we can open the floor for questions here if there's any questions.
Teresa asks, how does the 64-47 and the 17 and 62 affect my decision strategy?
62. They're both in the head.
Yes.
You have no business in your decision strategy. If I didn't learn one thing from Karen, I learned this a million gazillion times. They're in the head. Here's how they might inform. I have the 47-64. Regardless of what your decision strategy is I get the download, and instead of the 47 going, how do I do it? How do I do it? Mentally trying to figure it out. The 47 is the aha gate. I step back and go, I wonder how this guidance is going to come in, and I'm going to invite it in a way that it's fun so that I'm not grasping. I take my mental hands off it so that I'm allowing the inspiration to flow rather than glitching it. Does that make sense? And the 1762, I connect with my decision strategy to tell me what details I need to focus on.
And Teresa was a 6-2 generator. And has she got and what is her, is she emo or I think, yeah, generator. She did not put that, she has emotional authority.
She has emotional, okay.
I don't know. It's
okay. If you have emotional authority, what I'm finding is that you need to be emotionally neutral when you make that decision, when you listen to your sacral. At the end of the day, the generator types, that sacral is your work energy, your life force energy. So you need to be listening to that And with the emotion, you need to make sure that the emotion is neutral before you do it. And so really,
she's sacral authority. No, not emotional.
Sacral, even better. That's even easier because the emotions can be a bit of a bind. I having emotional authority myself. So I would use your sacral resonance, yes, no, your shanos, yes, wisdom, to pose questions to your defined channels that you're talking about.
Or better yet, have someone else post them outside yourself sometimes, or if you can do it. But very helpful, Teresa says. I'm not seeing other questions, but so I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask a question.
Okay.
I mean, why not? It's because we have some people very, very new to human design on the call. Okay. And so you say, when you tell people, what's your decision-making strategy? Can you just briefly explain to someone that is 1 month into human design and they're going, I don't know, it's a chart.
Exactly. Your decision strategy is your inner yes, no. It's your inner compass. So if you look at your human design chart, there'll be a place where it says decision authority. And what it means is where you are honoring your own authority with respect to a subject. So if it's sacral, it'll be a gut instinct. I have emotional authority. So to me, it's the solar plexus. It's a specific resonance in your body that tells you you're in alignment with your essence, with your flow. Good idea of calling it out when you don't know human design yet is, do you ever remember a time where your head said, oh, this is a fantastic idea, this is great, and your gut said absolutely not? Now, can you remember a time when you actually followed that? You followed your mind, you did it anyway? And how did that work out? Did you come out of it like out of a ring cycle or a spin cycle in the washing machine and go, oh my God, I knew from the second before I made that decision that I shouldn't do that, right? Or have you followed it where you actually did follow your guidance? And this can be tough. You followed like your inner yes. When you did follow it despite everybody telling you you're crazy, and it worked out. So the decision authority is a tangible sense. In Ireland, I call it shanos, your yes wisdom, where you filter your thought through your decision strategy, because that's the place where your body tells you this is in alignment with my flow or not.
Is there a difference between decision-making authority and strategy?
No, they're the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. Levine says, what are the gates to pay attention to for business design and marketing?
Oh, yeah. Oh, your conscious sun, business design. And business design really will go hand in hand with your strategy, your type, how you're wired to leverage your energy. And the big one with the prosperity pathway is recognizing your Jupiter is your lines of abundance, what Jupiter is activating, unconscious Mars. Will you be safe to take that action or not? And your conscious sun, because all the energies come through the sun. So if you're expressing your essence, your genius, people see you, you're transmitting your essence, and people kind of are magnetized to you normally. Whereas when you're transmitting what you think you should be, it's a different ball game. So yeah, great question. There's a number of ways of doing this. Consider having a look at the Oasis or some of my, I have a prosperity pathway free training on my website. You'll get a better idea from that. But I specifically tie in how you're wired to make money, how you're wired to deliver, your profile. All those are big factors in developing your business foundation. But the money mover is your decision authority or your decision strategy, because what you're saying yes to and what you're saying no to will either drain the life out of you and keep you running in circles, or support you completely in your super success.
Kind of goes along with the upcoming Manifest by Design that you'll be.
Exactly, it really does. Manifest by Design. You'll get an insight into all of that.
And I believe I just saw on your website, which I posted in to everyone, is you were talking about your offering, right?
Oh, yes.
The 3 steps to the prosperity pathway.
Yes.
That popped. Yes. I saw it when I logged on this. It was a pop-up that came up there. Okay, so we had a question from Candace on Facebook that says about children who are born premature. Does this affect their human design? Do you need to adjust their time for it?
That's a great question. I don't think so, because I think nothing happens by accident. So if the child was born prematurely, that's their time. So
yeah, as my daughter was born very, very premature, she pretty much embodies her design. That was it.
Yeah, I agree. I think, our timing is a critical aspect of our manifesting, and definitely when you're born in that time for a reason. I'd explore it.
Stephen asks, is your decision authority and inner authority the same?
Decision authority and inner authority, it depends. There's several different decision authorities, Stephen. Inner authority, yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. That inner GPS, that part of you that's saying, that's connected to your resonance, aliveness. See, when you're getting a no, you feel a contraction in your body. You're feeling that contraction for a reason. And this is why I call it yes wisdom, Sha knows. Because when you honor your no, you're saying yes to you. It's all yes. The universe doesn't understand no.
Oh, yes. We had a couple people that Sloan also said she was premature in her experiences, that her chart is accurate too. Oh. And time of birth is decided by the soul. They were agreeing with what you said. TJ, okay, I'll come back to TJ. Farina on Facebook says, as a 3/5 projector, I struggle with receiving invitations. How can I easily create my own?
3/5. You have the 5th line. That 5th line in your profile puts you into a different bracket marketing wise. I'm a 5/1 myself. None of the natural marketing tools work. You might have noticed. You will definitely have noticed. The 5 has that ability to make us a little bit invisible. So, gosh, I'm after losing track with what was the question again, Cindy? How does it?
How can they easily create their, create my own invitations or get more invitations?
Here's how you create your invitations. With the 5th line, it's very much an inside job. So what I do is I say, oh, I'm so delighted that I've created this space for people to come and work with me, because I'm valuing what I'm doing, and it's just amazing. I'm so open and free for invitations to show up in my life that I'm just so excited to see where it's going to come from. That's the inner job. You start, Mag. Can you feel the energy when I say this? These words, the 5th line has to come from in here. And I'll give you a quick story. I think I gave this in the last one as well. I had brought my kids to the beach. There was 4 of them, 4 smallies. And I came home and all 4 little pups jumped out of the car and ran off. And I was there, seriously. I was there, oh my God. I'm after doing this, giving them this beautiful day, the whole lot. And here, all day, none of them said thank you, right? Classic projector bitterness, right? So the next thing I was there, okay, hang on a second. I got to do this. I created the space that I was able to set this up for the kids today. I appreciate myself. That was amazing. Within 30 seconds, all the 4 kids were out. We forgot to say thank you. So it was really funny way of learning that 5th line. You need to say, I am an invitation to work with me. Would be a nice thing you could use there. Hopefully.
I can see that. Okay. Final question, because we're coming up on the top of the hour from TJ. So I jumped on late, but heard the tail end of the discussion of the 4323 question. I'm a 5-1 emotional projector with the gate 43 line 2 in unconscious Neptune and 23 line 6 in conscious Venus. Also a 2 line 5 conscious Sun and a 1 line 5 conscious Earth. With that, do you have any advice for Tanya on manifesting?
That's a lot of information. A 5-1 projector. I'm a 5-1 projector myself, as you know. With that 2343, what's your conscious Sun again? What's the incarnation theme?
Well, the conscious Sun is gate 2, so and I don't have the unconscious.
Okay, and what's the conscious Earth? That would be
1.
Okay, so it's probably something around the Phoenix then, or something, or the Sphinx maybe. Okay, so with that 1-2, as a projector, with the 5-1 projector, you very much have to put out what you love to do yourself, what really resonates with you yourself. I'm an emotional projector, but I have a triple split. So I need to get my mind, my body, and my heart agreement before I move forward. So balance and center is very important for us projectors. So with you, with the 5 manifesting, I find that once I get my inner yes and I put my ask out to the universe, I get my answer straight away. I really do get my answer straight away. So the 5-1 will be to manifest for me. It's about getting really clear about what I want, getting really clear about my preferences. As a projector, my biggest journey has been learning how to stop being a super slave or being a generator when I'm a projector, and allowing myself redefine what my natural flow is. So manifesting with the projector, if you stay in your flow, like I described earlier, and if you say, I want to make this much money, I am open to the idea of creating this, this, and this, right? Now, all you need to do is tune into your body, and you will get immediate energy, resistance, or flow about what you want to create. And there's a whole process. You sign up for the course, to be honest, because this is great for projectors as well. I wouldn't wait for the invitation. I set up inside me. I'm opening up, as I said to the lady earlier, I'm opening up for an invitation here to show up for me in a way that's perfect for what I want. I'm continuing to market my stuff based on my conscious Sun, the 2. So you'll be saying to people, how are you open to receiving? Are you aligned with, is it 2-1? If it's 2-1, it's about direction. Guess what? We're just coming out of COVID, right? Nobody knows where they're going. So this is perfect for you moving forward. So showing people practical tools about how to find their direction moving forward could be superb for you to know, does that resonate? But the manifesting as a projector, you still go through the same process, but as I described in the training, you use your natural strategy, how you communicate, how your yes-no works to help you discern. And that's going to be different for each type, obviously.
Well, thank you, Annita. We've reached the top of the hour.
Okay.
Final words?
Brilliant. Okay. Listen, thanks a million, everybody. Thank you, Cindy. This has been great. Now, I had a load of questions here from other people. Would it be okay if I did those on the Facebook page? Would that be okay? Or will I contact them individually? How would that be the best way to go, Cindy?
Well, you could probably answer. I saw where you posted them, and you could probably answer there or under the face, put them in the comments under the Facebook page. That would be good.
Oh, great. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, well, thank you so much. This has been an honor. Consider signing up and finding out how you are naturally wired to connect with the universe, to make things happen in your life. We're making things happen 24/7 anyway. Let's do it our way, right? Why learn all this stuff and not work it?